I was close. My brain just wasn't connecting. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Fantastic. A lot of things are happening. So, kind of give you kind of an update. You know that the furniture company has officially moved out, and so we'll be doing some remodeling, moving some furniture around, making some adjustments that I think are better for our office rather than display of furniture. So I'm pretty excited about some of those things, and we'll kind of keep you posted on that. Today, we're going to go over a new search feature, and I'm going to need you guys as guinea pigs because we're just in the middle of building this, and I want you to test it so that you can kind of give me your feedback. But before we go, I wanted to kind of just give you an update on your websites. So as you know that there are now 28 websites that we're monitoring and controlling. And there's been a lot of changes with Google because Google is always making it harder and harder to people to figure out what they're doing. So as we figure out what they're doing, they make changes to make it harder. So we just implemented a new program and it seemed to help a little bit. So we're up to 725,000 links. Our goal really is to get to about 1.5 million links by the end of the year. I'm hoping that we'll get more agents involved in this, but you can kind of see one of the things that I was at 67,000 and now I'm down to 60,200. So we're constantly trying to figure out on how to make those changes. Okay, so masters at 58,000, and just kind of make sure that if you're not moving up, that you can see that you guys have a lot of red, and red is not good. That means you're not posting news or you're not doing testimonials. And testimonials now, we have our YouTube channel up and running so that you can use that wall and do a YouTube channel, and then the staff can actually edit what you have. So we're really working hard to make sure or you have some people in, if you have a partner that you're working with, just do a quick testimonial. It doesn't have to just be consumers that are on there. You can have your people that you're doing business to give you a testimonial. The numbers for the week, and what I'm going to go over at the first thing is we're going to make sure that you're logged in when you're doing this. So as soon as you're logged in, you have a little picture or circle with your name on there, and it brings up what was that? Is that Andy Griffin? What was that? What was this? Oh, okay, that's Bob Mobley or something. It was Andy Griffin. I was going to go fishing for a minute. So, screen is a little here. So when you have your normal screen, it'll fit. But because I have to have it optimized like. To every that I have all. So if you want search list, just search list or here. So just want to go to your saved search list here, because what it will do is it starts system right now. So or what are you talking? I see that.
Let's see. I'm not quite there. So now
One of the things that you might have to do is clear your cache, okay? If you've got the old system in there, you go to your browsing, clear your history so that it will take away that history data. It stores that information in your history. So this gives you an opportunity to clear that up, and so now you go to the new search. The beauty of the new search is it's going to show you once you just click Colorado. Now, you have to be a little bit patient here, because once you click Colorado, it's going to search the database and then give you all the active listings in Colorado. So you see how I clicked on Colorado here. Clicked on Colorado, it shows me all the listings in Colorado. It tells me up here the number of listings in Colorado. And then it gives you a stream of lists that you're also active there, okay? And so right now, what I've done is I keep going down my list. And so now what you can do is, if you want to only search the MLS of that area, then you have to understand what area that you're looking at. But let's say that we only want the listings in RE Colorado. So that we click on RE Colorado, and now it searches just the listings of RE Colorado, or it'll search all of the listings. So if you want Iris and you want PPAR, because they might have listings in Denver, you don't want to click just RE Colorado because you're missing that opportunity. But you see how RE Colorado now shows up as the MLS. One thing you don't want to do, like the old search, excuse me, is you don't want to do multiple requests at one time. You have to do one request at a time, okay? And then you save that search. So one of the things that you have immediately here is you have a new search, because if it doesn't say it's a new search, it's a mini version of a search. So what I'm going to do is put Jim's class, and so right now I have now changed that, and that's what I'm doing. It's going to change every time. It's going to stay on that criteria, even if you're adding that criteria, unless you go to a different criteria. So, you know, every time you change something, it's going to add to your criteria. So now if I wanted to go to days on the market and I wanted to look at something that was historical, like 12 months on doing a market analysis, you would click on days on the market. I'm going to not click on days on the market, but now I'm going to look at counties, okay? This has every county in Colorado, okay? So you can check those counties. So let's say that we're going to look at Douglas County today. And now you let it think, and it's going to go back, and it's going to show you now how many active homes in Douglas County, residential, that are on the market. Okay? And so now I could go to a city. And the nice thing about this is only going to give you the cities that are in that county that you selected. All right? So it only shows you the cities that are in that county. So it eliminates that for you. If you start at cities, it'll give you the cities for the whole state, and then you might be having to go through, 250 numbers. So let's say that now we're going to click to Franktown. So now we click the city of Franktown, and you see that it gives us 37 homes that are in this chain. And one of the things, if you want to decide to take out the chain, you can take it out right here and saying, I don't want Franktown, I X that out, and it'll go back to the last feature. Okay, so now that we have cities, we could go to zip codes, and there's only one zip code in Franktown, so you don't really need to do that. But in Parker, there might be multiples, and so in the multiples, you would be able to narrow your search down by the zip code that you want. Now what we've done is we've added the elementaries, junior high, and high school. So because Franktown has areas that have both Douglas County and Ponderosa High School, then you can click that high school and only get those high schools. So if you wanted to, for example, you're searching only a high school that you want, you don't have to go all the way down that list. You can go right to Ponderosa High School, and then it'll give you only the high schools in Ponderosa. The challenge is sometimes there are other Ponderosa high schools around, and it might give you that. So if you narrowed it down to your county, it gives you a better ability to make sure that you're only looking at Ponderosa high schools in Douglas County. So, and then you can go to your price, okay? And the interesting thing here is right now, what you want to do is, let's say that we want to look at 500. You've got to hit 500 and not go to 700. You've got to let it think. And then, then you go back to your price and hit the, let's say we want to go to 700. We'll fix that, I'm sure, but right now, the way we have it searched, because it's searching the whole database every time. So now we're down to 10 homes in our criteria, all right? And we're going to be adding garage, and you could put in acres or bedrooms or things that you want. But one of the things now, you've got it down far enough to where you can see where the houses that you're searching. Now, because my screen resolution's a little big, you see how I have this share button? Anytime that you're logged now, and you hit this button, this is now going to go to your shared search list. Okay? And this is where you enter your clients in for their name, their email, and how often you want that search to go out to them. Does everybody understand the shared search button? Because this is the most important thing that you have. Your searches and then sending it out to your clients. So once you do that, and I'm going to show you, I've got Jim's class saved, so I'm going to go to one that I'm going to go to Brooke and Parker, okay? So now it retrieves that, list that I have, and it will tell you the search that Brooke has. It tells you in the stream that you have active properties in Parker residential, and it was 275 to 325. All right, so I can change this, and it automatically changes my criteria. So as your clients want to change different parameters, you can add or delete those parameters and still not mess up your client that's going out. Now, why I have never over here is because I've sold her, and I don't want her to continue to look at homes to mess up our deal that we already bought. I don't want her to find a better one, but she didn't anyway. And this gives you the ability to put it every 30 minutes, 6 hours, once a day, once a week. All right, so you can turn that on and off. If you decided at this point that you have a significant other or a husband or even her father, and I wanted to add her father, I would click this button, and now I would be able to get the second, third, fourth, fifth person, and I can change the frequency of when they're searching at any time that I want. Okay, that's the nice thing about that. The other nice thing is when I go then to Brooke as a it should be hyperlinked where it's black right now, but it will be hyperlinked, so then you can go right to her contact information and see everything right there that's integrated into the system. So it's not, you know, having to go back to different programs. Okay? Is there any questions so far? Because then we're going to get into the actual list. Seeing no questions, we're going to move on. So, remember, anything that's highlighted in blue is hyperlinked. Okay, so if you wanted to get Parker, Colorado, all the listings in Parker, Colorado, you would click on right here. Okay, it will not be part of your search list. It opens a new tab. And we're kind of looking at this, but you see how it opened a new tab up here? And it's results from your search. That's not your search list. This is a new search list. Okay, all I'm doing is that, okay, I wanted to see how many listings in that area that are all in Parker, just for that, and so I found out there's 134 because I just needed that number for whatever. But now let's see that there's only 3 here, and the nice thing here is see how it gives you the neighborhoods. Now if I want to do look at everything in Country Meadows, it gives me everything that's in Country Meadows. But because it's already keeping my stream, there's nothing from 5 to 700. Do you see what I'm saying?
So could you just delete the price then?
Absolutely. If you really want to just kind of look at just Country Meadows and look at everything in there, yes, you could delete the price.
So will there be an X that you don't get rid of?
That's a good question. I mean,
Or bedrooms or whatever
right.
further down?
We will have something that will just be able to eliminate that, and I'll talk to Eric about that. So you have something there, okay? But let's say I eliminate Country Meadows here because there's nothing in there, and that's something that I added. It will then go back to my search list, and it will eliminate that, okay? So remember, the nice thing about this is you have your one tab open here, and going back, it takes you back to your other tab. And so you don't have to worry about losing the data that you had if you wanted to go out in the market and see something that you have a question for, and then you can come back to your search, and it goes right back to that search list. So now the same thing with the high school, the elementary, any of those will tell you the data there. And so once I click on this property, I'm interested in this property, now it goes to the full information, okay, of the property. It still leaves the search criteria on this side, all right, and then goes through and gives you everything, gives you a map, gives you the value check, RPR, it gives you the utility score, and when you're logged, any property that you're in will automatically, because if in RPR you have, it'll stay logged for 14 days, but if you have another device and log in, then it knocks you out of this device. So you have to understand that log, save yours, and so, but now you see that I got an RPR report on the property that I'm looking at, and it gives me a valuation, tells me where the property is, all the pictures, the historical data, homeowner facts, and so this works on your iPad as well as your web to be able to show properties and get all this information out. If you wanted a report on this property, you would just say create report. And then it shows you the different types of reports that can be sent out directly from when you're in this program. You can see that it creates a new tab up here. So if you say, well, I don't want to do that yet, I want to go back and find something else, you just use your tabs to go back and forth so you're staying on the tab that you want to stay, and you don't have to reduce that tab or do anything else. It just gives you a series of things that you can go back and forth and staying in the program. So if I decided that I want a mini report, okay, it tells me, asks me what I want in the information, and so I can click and unclick any of those reports. And then I go down to include the recipient's name. I just do that. I type in a name. I put a message in, and I talk about the delivery method. If I want to do this as a PDF, I can do that, and then you can print that and you can put that in a book. If you want to just email it, then you put your participant's email address in there, and if you want a copy of it, you hit the CC button and you send report, and as soon as the report's done, it goes ahead and sends that, and it's customized to your specifications, meaning that when you go into RPR, you go into your welcome to James T. Wanzik, and it's going to give you all of the information that you need to put in here so that it customizes it so that the reports are customized to you. Okay, and it's all totally integrated, and once you do that, you have a full working report, a professional report, and you talk about 3 or 4 clicks and you can send any kind of report that you want. So I think RPR is really good in that regard. So we talked about RPR here. I just went back to our property search, our results. If I want to email that property, here's all the buttons that I can do. I can star this property as a favorite. I can print it. I can email it out. I can post it to Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Or I can advertise this property. So this might be one of my listings, and if I hit the advertise button, it's going to take you to the advertising mode, and it's the same way that you'd fill out any of the other forms that we have, and now you're going to be able to advertise that property on either Google or Facebook. Add more options. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and I'm going to kind of show you what happens. So here's all my reports, okay? And so then it takes the picture, and I can add a different photo by just hitting add photo. This is the one that came directly from the MLS, so if you didn't like that, you can change that. The nice thing about this, change this if you want. You can change any of this, but this automatically just comes over from the MLS, so you don't have to add a lot of that stuff, and it creates the link that you will have for your URL, because it will create that and adds more data content that goes out to the works. So if you want to decide Google AdWords or Facebook campaign, you decide how much you want to spend, how much you want to spend per day, and then you put a beginning date and an ending date, and now it will create that campaign by just clicking on this. This says, okay, I can decide the city of where I want that to be derived from. If I think that Highlands Ranch is where my customers are going to come from, I can advertise in Highlands Ranch, and I can decide the age group that I want, that I can say that if they're from the private sector or unemployed or anything like that, so that they can get government subsidies, you can do that. And you also can check your gender. I'm sorry we only have a male and female. You're just going to have to live with just that. We can get more specific, but right now that's it. Once you have created the campaign, then it will give you what you're spending, how many clicks, how many impressions that you're getting, and the cost that you're sending. It'll give you an average of the cost per click is. And so that's how you would do a advertisement. So we're going to go back to our search campaign. One of the things you can do here is you see search. This search button is really for the consumer, but you can backdoor into it by just clicking everywhere, and then it will start a brand new search. But because I've got this one open, you see it's a new results here. It just went back to my results. So if I want to start a brand new search, the best thing to do is always create a new search from here, or take one from your list. Okay? So here's all my lists, and I can choose from there or go to my new create list. All right? Since we've got this one going, you see results from your search list. That means you're not to, you go to here, back to Brookmore, because grid kind of thing, and I went to search for something that might be different. Price is $225. If I go to Parker Heights, it's only gonna see, for some reason it goes to 500 to 700, which is one that I had before. So that's a bug in the system I'll tell Eric about. I'm gonna just try and, yeah, that is the Franktown search, and it kind of got cross-wired. I'm gonna just try and do something I told you not to do, click them both at the same time. And then refresh my search. So Parker Heights is not in Franktown. So I have to take Franktown out. I've got no price in there now. So now I've just got Parker Heights, and it tells me where I'm at, and there's 21 properties. Now I don't have this refined by statuses, so if I want certain statuses, I would click on the status and say active, and so it'll refine my search to just the active ones. So now you can see that there's one active, or you can come down here and do the one active.
So will he be adding the under contract too?
Yes, I mean, it was there this morning. I think because you only had, there was nothing under contract, it automatically tells you that your choices are limited. So that's why it was limited to the property status. And I think, let's see if that works the same way. See, land is not there because there's no land available, so it's already discounted. That's why it takes a little bit of time for it to think about that, because it's the choices that are in that. Because in here, you're only going to see Douglas County. You've already got Douglas County. So it narrows all that down for you, and the deeper you get, the less choices you're going to get, to make sure that in this stream here is exactly what you want, because it's going to go character like any other computer search that you have. So let's one of the things that is now your search by any of these criteria here. If you want the newest, it's always going to be the newest, but and so that they were, again, you can see she decided to buy a new home, so I turned her 5 different searches before she so the nice thing about this is you can see or your type of property is also in there, and rentals is one that we're adding. So you'll have rentals. I'm going to go back and I'm going to start a new search, and I'm going to show you kind of all the choices. Create a new list. It doesn't eliminate, it just out that we're trying to make this as user friendly to the getting the consumer the information. Name it if I wanted, all right, it starts with just residential and active. So I'm going to try and show you some of the. So now I haven't just checked Colorado. So you can see, you can check Jacksonville, Florida, okay? Go to Pennsylvania. So if you wanted to search those areas, my goal now, once I'm done with this, together, so that you have your ability. When I go to property types now, and one of the things that do is you click on, you can't just click on the whole box, you have to click on days on the market. It won't frustrate you as much because I'm used to clicking on a whole box, and right now it just goes to that. But now business opportunities in so these are all the types of properties how you can search. So you can even do timeshares because some of the mountains will have timeshares. And then I'm going to go to will be all of the types of status. No, you've got private market active, sold, and deleted. So you can get all of that data that's in our private market. And sold is twice for some reason. So, you know, we're still working on this. And then the under contract. Days on the market are usually used for if you've got a client that they've already been searching for a while and they know all the old stuff and you only want to eliminate it to last 20 days or 5 days so that they're not getting duplicates there. All right? And then 12 months would be something because you've got 3 years of solds. You want to eliminate your solds down. That's where you would use the 12-month button there. So again, I'm going to go to the counties. Now remember, I don't have anything checked, so it's going to give me every county that there is in Pennsylvania and in Florida and everything. So it may be a little frustrating, but it's got it all in there, okay? So if you want to just do Weld County, for example, let's just click on that, and we're checking the whole United States what we have, and there's 977 homes in Weld County that are active. All right? So I'm going to eliminate Weld County because I'm trying to give you the full version. So it should go back to just the residential and active. And now I go to zip codes. So now if I wanted to go by a certain zip code, you got a client that says, hey, I want to live in this zip code, you've got all the zip codes in the United States. So it takes a while to get to the 8001, the ones that we might be interested in, but that's how the system is built. So we can build with the database all across the United States. So the more data that we get, the more comprehensive this system is going to be. And so now I'm going to go to, I showed you cities, right? So let me get back out, and I'm going to go to neighborhoods. And so now it's going to find every neighborhood that's in the system. And you can see there's kind of some really strange numbers. Well, we only can give you the information that's in the system, so it may look bad from there, but somebody decided that first edition was a subdivision, and that's where you're going to be able to search from. But, you know, now it starts to get, you know, better because it gets in alphabetical order. All right? Yeah, but the thing you have to understand, Tyler, okay, let's go back to explain to you how you should use the system. I don't expect you to do it all that way. So let's just go to, let's say that you want to be in the state. And so I'm going to go to Colorado, all right? And then I'm going to go to a city, okay? It's only going to give me the cities in Colorado. And let's say that I'm going to do Arvada, okay? And see, do I see Arvada? Okay, so now this is where I think we get strong here, is that, so now I've got 295 properties in Arvada, and now that I want to go to the neighborhoods or the school, let me show you the zip codes. It's only going to show you the zip codes in Arvada. So now you got to narrow it down so that you don't get frustrated. Because you may not know all the neighborhoods in Arvada, but now I'm going to give you all the neighborhoods that are in in this system. There you go. So now it has just the ones in Arvada. Okay. Well, that may not. I mean, I want to make sure that that's right, but that's what our intention is to have the neighborhoods. You go down to the zip code, the neighborhood. And the nice other thing is, let's say that you're looking at Arvada over here. So you've got all the listings on Arvada, and now you can see that also your neighborhoods. So you might be looking at, hey, on 87th, they're close to 87th, and now what I want to do is Linden Rock, and I want to see everything in Linden Rock. I can narrow my search down by Linden Rock, and then it will just give me everything in Linden Rock. And there's 38. Okay, so if you learn how to narrow the system down, your frustration level will go down. I agree, hey, it would be nice to put a few letters in for it to come in, but right now this is the beginning. This is 1.0 of a brand new search, okay? And so now what this will tell me is that it's all Ralston Valley for a high school, and it's got Drake, and it has the elementaries, but if it was now I wanted to search a different elementary, because this is all the same elementary because it's all in the same area. But if I found something that was a different elementary, then I can click on that elementary and then. So again, I can narrow it down by price. I can go by schools, and this, because I'm looking in Leiden Rock, it only gives me the high schools that would be attributed to that area. So you don't have to just narrowing it down, and now you get your searches. Does that help a little bit, Tyler? No. A little. There's a question?
Can you put in school districts?
Let's say that you click on this property right here, on this property, what we're going to do is that you'll have all the information about that property, and then you go down to schools. Yep.
There's not a field to fill that out initially.
Right. Well, but we do have the database. So you see how it's District Jefferson R1, and if we did that, if we hyperlink that, then it would give you everything in Jefferson R1 and go back and show you. So what you're asking for is, because I have the schools broken down already, you're asking it by district. And that certainly is achievable on here, but it's also achievable. What I'm trying to do is put so many lists where, if you understand the system, you can manipulate the system and add by in areas and properties.
Aren't our buyers able to go in there and create their own search?
When you send them a search, they're going to be able to manipulate that search and add to it, and it will. But they you sent them to be able to manipulate that. If they're logged in with the agent, yes, but if they're not, they wouldn't be able to do that. They wouldn't be able to get sold. They're only going to get certain information. They're not going to get RPR. They're not going to get value check, any of that information. Let's see. So any other questions that you have kind of talking about the search? So school districts, populating the typing in that information. Those are two things that I've heard. What else? What other things do you see? Because I'd really like for you guys in the next week to kind of play with this, see what you like, what you don't like, and we can start to add things that are feedback that I get.
I'd like to make sure that you can keep backing out of your searches up top, out of
Yes.
the criteria.
Yeah.
If you marry yourself.
Yeah. That's not going to change. So you can see how I'm on a property and I can go back to my home and do search or my other search. So the nice thing about this is the way we have it done right now is that when you go off into the marketplace, you see how results from your search up here is different from when I open this tab, which is your actual search. So you can move back and forth and not be messing up this area if you wanted to go look at something.
Yeah, no, my thing was, like, after you have Arvada and you search by bedrooms, let's say you search by 4 bedrooms, I want to be able to back out of 4 bedrooms.
So what you're wanting is that this being highlighted with an X when you do it by price.
Yep.
Say, I don't want that price, I just want to get rid of the price.
Or neighborhood or whatever.
Yeah, well, neighborhood is there. The only thing that I'm seeing, see, any of this Arvada, status, city, I can do, let's just try and do a neighborhood real quick in, because we don't have it by price, and we have Linden Rock. Linden Rock is added to that group.
Okay.
See how Linden Rock is? But if I want to take it out, I can take it out. The thing that's not taken out, there's so much testing has to get done. That's the old version, and we don't want to change that till we know that the upper stuff is working. We did last Friday, we did 51,000 lines of code in one day to get it to this. So we have 5 million lines of code in this program right now. It's that big. So that's why, square footage, things like square footage just was added, but we don't have car storage yet, some of those other things, because what I would really like to do is when you see vehicle spaces over here, I would like to have vehicle spaces over here hyperlinked so it adds it up front, so that you can say, oh no, they want a 3-car, you're not having over on that side. You can kind of work in with that, and it keeps building your search, and then when you're ready to send that search out, it's shared, because right here you don't see the shared button, but if I'm inside my search, you have the shared button here, okay? So you know that this is your search, and you just have to read because it's going to be here, and it's by alphabetical order, okay? And so those kinds of things are what we're making sure we integrate that together. Any other questions? Because that's pretty much what I wanted to go over with. If some of you guys would like to stay a little bit, I will kind of go here that may not understand the functionality of the iPhone, and I'd really like to go over that. But I'm here to answer any questions. The things that we're working on that I should get released by next week, that will be our email templates and our newsletter format. so that you'll be able to have Doug Lyerly will have all of that stuff in, and then once a month you'll be able to send an email out to with a newsletter of the way that you want it to work. So we're really working on that. And then the commissions and stuff that Carla's starting to test so that we can have our commission. So we're working on a lot of things, but this was just something that we felt that we needed to stop and rebuild because we want to get this across the United States, and much dealing with Holly Vogel, who's a trainer in Atlanta, and she trains, and we've had 3 sessions with her, and she wants, as soon as you meet a client, you want to do a shared list based on the area that they're looking at. So we're building that so that as soon as you meet a client and you hit that button, then a shared list will come up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and if they want to opt out, it's a nice button to opt out, and they're done. Or they can now start to interact. She says that's very, very effective how she teaches in Atlanta, and so we're adding that feature. And we had to make sure that our shared button and the way we have a down to the lowest common denominator of way you guys want us to have that search set up is more important than possibly the speed of some of the functions that you're saying today. But my goal is to get everybody working on that. Any other questions? Good. I'm going to go over. I'm going to switch my screen. We're going to go over an iPhone. And it works the same way on the Droid. Probably stop the stream. That